And good evening and welcome to Lift FM 98.5 and 97.9 on your FM radio dial. And of course, we're worldwide at liftfm.com. Reminder that all of our programs here on Second Chances are available online. We keep an archive, and you can just go to the following website, www.advantageradioministries.org. Click on Second Chances, and then from there you can go and see the complete list of all these programs we have, all of which people come on, they share their testimony, talk about all the neat and exciting things that God has done. And we have just another one of those people with us tonight. His name is Don Furr. And Don, we'd like to thank you for joining us here at Second Chances.
Well, thank you, Greg. I appreciate the opportunity.
I figure it this way. We were talking about this off air. We've been trying here for a few minutes to start the program, and every time we go to start it, the phone kind of clicks off and kind of disappears. So I'm saying, boy, the Lord's going to be here with this program because the enemy don't want it, that's for sure.
It sounds like it.
Now, Don, before we get into anything else, why don't you give me a little bit of background of who you are and what kind of home you come from and, things like that so we can understand who you are a little bit.
Okay, well, I have been told that I have a southern accent. I don't hear it or see it, but apparently it's true. I'm a Tennessee boy, been in the Memphis area for all of my life, 55 years. I've lived in Memphis, went to school here, and married my sweetheart. We've been married 25 years, and it's been a good thing. I've enjoyed living here. I have 3 children, 3 grandchildren, and another grandchild on the way. So life is good.
Now, has your life always been good, or have you ever had your times where things have been really difficult?
Well, let's see, what day is it? Well, I'm a businessman, so I own a business. And,
what kind of business?
We are a trade show exhibit company, and I've had it for, this is what's going on.
No, we're okay. We're okay.
Okay. I've had it for 26 years. I started it. It's called Exhibit A. We design and build trade show exhibits, and started it in 1985 with a partner from my church, actually. And we started the business with just a little bit of seed money and with faith. And he led me. I was 29 at the time, and he was 65 at the time. And
wow.
He took me under his wing, and I bought him out a few years later, and he has since passed away. He died in 2005 at the age of 85, and he was a dear brother, and he really brought me along, and the Lord was really with him and continues to be with us. So I'm very proud. But as far as things going awry, shall we say? Oh my goodness, been through a lot of terrible things, but God's been gracious. God's been good, and we just have to keep our eyes on Him and not so much on the circumstances that are going on around us.
Have you always, Don? Have you always served the Lord?
I have been serving the Lord since March 30th. Actually, March 30th, 1975 is my spiritual birthday. From that point forward, became a minister of music in a Baptist church, and I have, since I've been married, we joined another church, and I have been a minister of music there and a Sunday school director. So I've been in the ministry, as a layman, actually, since 75. What is that, 36 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been good. I'm very pleased. Haven't done as much as I'd like to do, but God's been good. God really has been good to me.
What are some of the things that you haven't done that you would like to do, Don?
Well, my friend David Evans, Dr. David Evans, he just finished a movie called The Grace Card here in Memphis, and I'd like to do that. I've had a lot of bit parts in movies, and that's something I would really like to do. I would like to, hopefully, maybe even with this book, it might be able to be a movie. I would really like to get involved in the movie industry aspect of it, I think that would really be a blast.
Any other things in your life that you would love to do that you would like to see the Lord open up the opportunity to do?
Well, it's funny that you ask. My business, we are in the trade show exhibit business, so God gave me a creative talent, so I've been able to use creativity to further my business, and that's really been a great thing. Well, I've taken that creativity and used it in my church. We have an event that we do every other year called Judgment House. I don't know if you have those up there.
What is Judgment House?
It's Judgment House is like a Halloween alternative.
Oh, okay.
Where people can come into the church and all, and we've built a lot of great props. Last year was probably our biggest year, and we actually built a crashed DC-9 that had crashed in our parking lot, and we actually built the pieces. I got all kinds of pieces and seats from real aircraft, and was able to build this thing full scale. Of course, we only had to build half of it, the front half, and then it was all torn to pieces and whatnot. But that was really a neat thing. And the 911, we found out, received an average of 5 to a dozen calls a night because they thought that a plane had crashed in our neighborhood. But we were able to use that, and we were able to get the local police department and fire departments and all that. We even own a fire truck now, so
wow.
We don't have to get the fire department, and we dress our guys up like firemen and whatnot. So we do that, and we present the Lord Jesus through this play as people walk through, and then at the last we give them a testimony time, and we give them an opportunity to come to Christ. And we're a very small church. We had about 600 come through last year, but of those 600, 55 gave their lives to Christ. And this is over a 4-night period, so it's almost 10%. So we were very happy for that. So I'm involved in that, and we've gotten to where now we're doing that every year. We were doing it every other year because it was such a it was such a strain to do that and to do business and all of those things. But we since have moved it to where we do it every year now. So a lot of fun.
Now, for the purpose of non-believers, Don, there's people that say, why would you choose a time like Halloween to give a salvation message? Why would you, for the non-believers that are listening?
Well, Halloween is typically, a pagan holiday. And we're trying to take, in Memphis, in the Memphis area, typically during Christmas time, Bellevue Baptist Church is the largest church in the state, one of the largest churches in the country. They pretty well have what's called the Singing Christmas Tree that involves thousands and thousands of people, and they're a very, very large church, and Memphis sort of gravitates towards that. Well, they do the same thing during Easter. So Easter is covered, Christmas is covered, and so what we've tried to do is to have something that nobody else has, where we could, reach, the world where nothing else is going on church-wise, and we felt like Halloween would be a great time to do that. And lo and behold, it really is. People really flock to us, and we really have a great time. That people come, they really don't know what to expect. But it's always a blessing to us, and we typically have anywhere from 500 to 1,000 come through our church, and we're a very small church. We're 100 to 125 in Sunday school, so but it's really a great ministry, and of course I'm involved or have been involved with a local TV station here. I was their helicopter pilot for 6 years, so. And I own a fixed wing aircraft, and the weatherman here is also my partner in the airplane. So we have a lot of connections with the TV station. We were able to get them out this last year with the aircraft, and that really did bring in a lot of people too. 'Cause a lot of people saw it on TV. So, it's a good thing. It really does work, and God has truly been blessing us through it.
You now, whether you realize it or not, you now have a connection with television in the Philadelphia market because in addition to the radio ministry program that I do here, I have my normal job is with my television business, and we do in the Philadelphia market. We do infomercials in the Philadelphia market here in the East Coast.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do for an income. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's interesting you mentioned that. Don, has there ever been a time in your life where the Lord did something and really got you out of a situation that you just didn't know how you were going to get out of it, but miraculously the Lord got you out of it?
Well, I think those things have happened more than once with me.
Could you share some of them with us?
Say again?
Could you share some of them with us?
Well, I unfortunately went through a divorce in 1984. It was typically it was a very bad time in my life, and God brought me through that. How in the world He did it, it's still a mystery to me. The way the whole thing happened was it was just such a bad time for me in my life, and God picked me up. He brushed me off, and He said, "I've got other plans for you," and I could see it. I could see Him and how He worked in my life, and this was such a crucial time in my life. It was a time when there were thoughts of how am I going to get through this, and suicide, and all of those things were a possibility, and it was a very crushing time in my life, and lo and behold, interestingly enough, this business came from that. The company that I was with at the time decided to move out of state, and I didn't want to leave, and lo and behold, I was talking with this friend of mine at church, as I shared with you, and he said, "Well, hey, let's start our own business. Let's just start a business." I said, "Well, I've heard about this exhibit business, and what do you think? You want to start it?" I said, "You know what? Let's give it a try. I think I can do it."
Amen.
So God blessed me. If you had asked me 25 years ago if that would have happened and I would be where I am today, I would have laughed.
25 years ago, Don, I asked you where you thought you'd be today. What would you have told me?
I would have said I would have been probably working for the same man that I was working for then. That gentleman I still in contact with every day, and he has gone on and he's doing other things. He's retired now, but I had no inclination that I was going to be a business owner. I just felt like this. It just came upon me, and I felt like it was something I had to do, and God took it and He blessed me with it, and I'm just eternally grateful.
Amen. Now, had you always been a person that really was inclined to be a writer, or is it something that just kind of happened?
Well, it actually did just happen. The series Left Behind, Jerry Jenkins, and it came about in the mid 1990s, and I oddly enough I began reading the first book of Left Behind while I was on an airplane going from Memphis to Minneapolis. And I don't know if you've read the book or not. But
Have not.
Oh, my goodness. The book starts off with the rapture of the church, and it starts off on an airplane. And all of these people are whisked off of this airplane, and all that's left is their clothes in these seats. Well, I am sitting here in this seat, and I am sobbing like a child reading this book. It just affected me. And I pulled the flight attendant over, and I just shared it with her, and I said, "This book, you've got to read this book. This book is unbelievable." Well, it touched me so much that that very year I got involved with a judgment house at the church that I was going to at the time with the youth minister there, and we actually did a Left Behind that particular year. So, that's sort of how it took off and how the book touched me. And within a few months after reading the first Left Behind, I started writing my book, Quest for the Nail Prince. And that's sort of how it started off. Jerry Jenkins had a part of that. And Jerry Jenkins is now reading my book.
How about that?
So I'm pretty excited about that, too.
Now, how long has your book, Quest for the Nail Prince, been out?
Well, it actually, I self-published the book back last year. I wanted to do my own market and just to see what the book would do. I felt like the way I was going to do it was to get the book out there, get it in a few bookstores, and just to see what the book would do. Then I would turn around and I would take it to some of the larger publishers. I'm just 200 miles from Nashville, and a lot of the large publishers there are in Nashville. So I decided to do that and to take the book and put it in Christian stores as well as secular stores, and just to see what it would do. And over a 4-month period, it did amazingly well. So much so that I used it in my marketing campaign when I went to publishers, and it was amazing. To this day, it's still amazing. I remember one particular Christian bookstore. He said, brother, you're in the top 25 in my entire store. He said, your book sells.
Wow.
It is so unique. And let me tell you, I don't know if you know much about the book, but probably one of the most interesting things about the book is there's a hole pierced all the way through the book, from front to back. It is just off of center. It's a 3/8 diameter hole, and once the book is printed, it is taken to a drill press, and a hole is punched all the way through the book. So it actually, and then I took it from there, and I've made a wooden cross display. That's what my company does as well. We do point of purchase, POP, and I have a wood display, and it holds 10 penny nails, and it holds them at certain points and on the wood, and the book actually hangs on this cross display. And this particular cross display will hold 14 books at a time. And they put it in the front of the store, and they don't have to say anything. People walk in, and they have to take the book off of the nails. It just amazes me. I've had people come in, and this was my own marketing myself.
Wow.
We had people come in. The bookstore called me one day. He said, a lady just came in, and she bought all the books off of the cross, Don. She said, I've never seen anything like this. And she took every one of the books, and she flew home to Los Angeles. And I haven't heard anything back from them, but she was so intrigued by that, and so that's really been a big point to be able a big crowd. What I call that's my draw to the book, to be able to have it to where it's hanging by. It'll actually hang by the hole, and the book actually I've done all the work in it and studied as far as how the book needs to hang and whatnot. And at this particular space where the book hangs, it hangs 22 degrees to the right. It tilts 22 degrees to the right. It naturally hangs there. So you can actually, if you've got a nail hanging on the wall, you can take this book and it'll sit right on there, and you can hang it on it. So it's a great conversation piece. And
Now, obviously, Don, the fact that the book has the hole in it, it's hanging on the cross, obviously instantly draws people to that book. Was that something when you set out and wrote this book that you knew that once you got it published and put it in bookstores you had to do?
Did I know that
you wanted to actually put a hole in the book and hang it?
That actually came within about within the first 6 months. It just dawned on me one day. I knew where I wanted the story to go, and I'm a time travel fanatic. So time travel is such a fascinating thing to me. Of course, Back to the Future movies and all of those things, which, by the way, was my wife and mine first date was to see Back to the Future. And,
how about that?
Yeah, and this is the 25th. Well, actually, last year was the 25th year for Back to the Future, and not to go into detail with that, but I actually have a DeLorean that I've laid out, and it's just like the car and all of that. So I actually use that and that type of thing as well. But no, I didn't. I didn't start out like that, but it came on very quickly. I knew the part that I wanted the nails to play in the story, and I tried to figure out a way that people would see the nails and what the nails would do, how they would impact the book, and just the idea that there's a hole through every single page. It says something to me. It talks to me. And I wanted to talk to the people that Christ touches every page of our lives, every single page. We just have to look for Him, and that's sort of the analogy, the picture that I'm trying to bring across.
Now, did the book once you started to do that, I would suspect that the sales increased?
Well, what do you mean with the whole?
Yes.
Well, of course, the whole came into fruition about 1997. Well, I didn't finish the book until last year, so the book was a 13-year project for me.
I see.
I've done a lot of living since then, but I wasn't a writer per se when I started. I was sort of a index finger typer. So I've since over the course of it's been 15 years now since everything's been going on with the marketing and whatnot. But no, it is imperative. And I told the publisher, I had to make sure that the publisher knew on the front end the whole has to stay. And she just laughed at me because she said we would not dream of taking the whole out of the whole is everything, So had great reviews on that.
Give us a little summary of the book.
Well, the book is the book started out actually as three men that meet on an airplane. Of course, the book starts out with the background and starts out with a doctor, and the doctor is a flight surgeon on a medical flight, and so I was able to write about a helicopter pilot and all of those things, which it just came very natural to me to do that. That introduces the doctor, and then there's a professor, and then there's a pastor. So it's actually three people. It was three men. The book originally started off three men in time, and it's funny how over the course of 13 years how the story has changed, and I thought that I had it right and everything was down right until I got with my publisher, Joan Schaup. She is with Sheaf House Publishers out of Charlotte, Tennessee. Well, after we started talking and got into some heavy negotiations, she looked me right in the face and she says, "Don, one of these main characters has to be a woman." And I was like, "Oh my goodness." So after we consummated the deal, I went home and I began to change one of my main characters into a woman character, and it was absolutely phenomenal. It made the book so much better. I was just amazed. It took me a month to rewrite to do it the way it should be, and of course I had to. There were a lot of things that changed. It's one thing for three men. They were traveling overseas. They were on a flight, and through a series of events, they end up standing out on the street, literally standing out on the street as Jesus rides in on the donkey during Passion Week, during Palm Sunday. They are literally standing on the street. Well, that's sort of the book and how the book starts out, and I don't want to share a whole lot more about it, but the dynamic sort of changed when now all of a sudden there are two men standing out there with a woman, and we had to change a lot of things. The dynamic, we had situations where, they're there for the entire Passion Week all the way up to, obviously the crucifixion happens on that Friday. So we had to work out sleeping arrangements and interaction. Had to do a lot of study on exactly how that happened historically. But man, it was so much fun. It was so much fun. And Bill Stewart is now Elizabeth Stewart. So she stayed a doctor, and it's just worked so well. I'm so pleased with how it worked. And I actually pull out the book and I read it every few weeks again. I'm just blown away by the story myself, and it's been great.
Now, Don, do you have any aspirations of writing another book?
Well, actually, I do. The story leaves you hanging, and from there, yes, I'm already into the 4th chapter of the sequel. So,
any timetable to get the sequel out?
Well, let's see. I was at 14 years total time, 14 years on the last book, and my publisher says I've got 13 months to do the next one. So, but it's so much easier to do now, and of course I'm trying to market and do these types of things with this book. So this takes a lot of my time. But when I'm not doing that, I'm trying to write and start with the sequel. But the sequel starts out right where this book ends. And a lot of times you don't see that in sequels, but this is exactly where this one ends, the sequel starts. And, it's so much fun because I hated to end the book. I hated it. I wanted to continue on, and now I'm able to do that. So it's wonderful.
Do you have a working title for the sequel?
Yes, I do. It's called Peter's Quest. So this was Quest for the Nail Prince is the title of the book, and the sequel is called Peter's Quest. Have
you been giving any thought to clever marketing tools such as the hole in the last book?
Yes, I have, and I haven't come up with anything definitive yet, but I'm working on a few different ideas. I've shared with my publisher, and she wants me to keep that mum's the word, she said right now.
Understand.
Yeah, so working on it.
Okay. Final thing we want to touch on, Don, if someone would like to obtain a copy of the book Quest for the Nail Prince, how does one go about getting that book?
Well, the book will be available beginning will be available in March 1st, actually. And so it can be bought through Amazon.com or BarnesandNobles.com. They both have the book available, and you could just go to that and put in the book title, Quest for the Nail Prince, or my name, Don Furr, F-U-R-R, and it will pull up, and they will process it and get you a book.
Okay. One more time, that website?
As far as my website?
Yes.
My website is called questforthenailprince.com. If you go to questforthenailprince.com, it'll give you all the information that you need about the book, and you can also order directly from my website, and it will tie you directly to either Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com, or ChristianBook.com. Any of those three carry the book.
And final question, how's your typing skills this time around? They a little faster?
Well, I still look at my hands a little bit, but not nearly as much as I used to 13 years ago, and I type considerably faster.
13 years ago, did you use the typewriter or did you use a computer?
Oh, that's so funny that you asked me. I was using a typewriter. That was right before I was using a computer, and within a year or so, I think I was in the typewriter. Now I carry my laptop with me when I write, and I travel a lot, so I've done a lot of research. I've been a lot of places, been all over the world, been to Israel twice.
Wow.
The funniest thing, the first time in Israel in 2000, when I was there, I'm sitting there, and it's the middle of the night. Your hours are so screwed up. It's 2 o'clock in the morning there, and I'm sitting there with my laptop and looking out at I was looking out at the western wall of the outer part of the old city, and was writing, and I was having to change so many things because I was only guessing at what the old city looked like. And once I was there, boy, I had to change some things. But it's very accurate. The book is very accurate. The Israeli soldiers and all of the things that I write about, and the cobblestones in the streets and all of those things in the old city. I've talked to many people that said, boy, it's exactly like I'm there. And of course, then I write about Jesus' time, and obviously I have to, only imagine what those things are like. But boy, I'm just getting some great reviews, and I just hope that your listeners will take the time to buy the book and to read it and to pass the word, because I'm just praying that Quest for the Nail Prints will be able to reach others for Christ. There's even a place in the back of the book that brings up the idea that if you would like to come to Christ, and it presents the gospel at the back of the book. So,
Amen. Amen. Don, we're going to have to, Don, we want to thank you. We're going to have to leave it there. We're just about out of time. Our guest has been Don Furr, author of the book Quest for the Nail Prints, available by going to the website questforthenailprints.com. There it'll tell you specifically how to get the book via Amazon as of March the 1st. And Don, we'd like to thank you for being a guest tonight on Second Chances.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it. I look forward to talking to you soon.
Same here. Our guest once again, Don Furr, here on Second Chances at Lift FM 98.5 and 97.9 on your FM radio dial.